So something I've noticed is that I'm not going to say I think there's a lack of understanding actually with parents in the United States when it comes to training their kids. I think most people think in the US that, man, the only way to train is use cones and use a ball, right? And, um, that's not true. There's many different ways for players to train and get better at soccer. Best way, in my opinion, is probably the way Europe does it, um, which makes sense because they have the best teams and some of the best players in the world. But working at City, I've learned that one way to learn is just you play and you get better, right? Like if you play a small sided game, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, you dribble the ball, you're working on your dribbling. You don't need to dribble around cones. I've had a parent ask me that before. Oh, when are they going to dribble around cones? Why do they need to dribble around cones when they can dribble around opposing players, right? You're working on all different aspects of your game there. You could be working on shielding the ball, different touches, different, parts of your feet touching the ball, and so on. So, but here in the U.S., it's like there's a certain way. Even I've seen teams in the past because um, we would use an indoor facility with walls, and one thing that kind of struck me is I seen these other teams practicing in there, and they'll have like say around 10 to 12 kids on their team on these fields, and they're warming up. And what these coaches will do is they'll have their players pass the ball against the wall, right? Which is wonderful. Wonderful if you're by yourself, right? If you're training by yourself, yeah, find a wall, pass the ball against the wall. Why would you not have all your players pass the ball to each other? If you got 10 players, have 5 balls in the field. And the other thing you do, have those players move around. They should be moving when they don't have the ball, right? You got to work on off the ball. You can not only you can warm up with passing, but you can do it with your players passing to each other and working on off the ball movement. There's so many things you could work on at one time instead of just passing against the wall. It's a waste of time when you have a whole team. So there's some things like that I've noticed. America is just very much do these drills, right? And there's ways to do things where you can avoid drills that's going to be more natural to the game. Um, and so it's just I think the mindset of a lot of coaches in the U.S. is not that, and that's understandable. That's not what people have been taught in the U.S. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Feel free to comment below.